The Elementals of Harmony by Phantom, most everything. Chapter 18, Cleanup Step. The guard directly in front of Ditzy examined the area, then jerked his head at two of his comrades. They took off, leaving three around the mayor and her daughter. Then he flared, audibly slicing the air. On your bellies! Wings spread and on the ground! The gray mare felt her jaw work. So many different responses, worrying for her expression, she was stunned into silence. Dinky was not so disabled. She danced between the two adult ponies, crying, "We didn't do anything wrong!" The armored Pegasus remained impeccable. The innocent have nothing to fear. On your belly! Do not channel your magic! Ditzy found her voice. She's just a fool! He took a step forward. If you choose not to comply, I am authorized to physically force you to do so. The planeswalker snored, flared her own wings, producing two small thunderclaps. Lightning crackled around her plumage. Her rage threatened to boil over onto any pony who was nearby who wasn't her foe. She locked cases with the fool who dared to threaten the precious muffin and... Stop now, you fools! It is only thanks to these ponies' efforts that you still draw breath! The guards stared at the bombastic Alicorn for a moment. Marshal resolved giving away to naked fear. Their wheels snapped like dry twigs. Red door! Red door! Evacuate! This is not a drill! Amidst the panic flapping, the princess grunted to Ditzy. I'm still Light of the Moon, aren't I? The Pegasus tittered. Electrical fury forgot in their surprise. I'm afraid so, your highness. The Dread Mare rolled her eyes, its strength to Luna's moderately less imitating form. I'm going to have to bear that in mind in the future. Diplomatic consequences alone would be disastrous. The one stood at stride. I don't know. Give us what we want, our separate everlasting night. Seems like a fairly solid foreign policy to me. The Pegasus smirked. Then let us be thankful we do not toil under the iron hoof of Empress Ditzy. The two shared a laugh. As the ref abated, the Grey Mare nodded. Seriously, you should probably stop them before the entire country starts panicking. On it. A pitch-black spear expanded its existence before them, scoring the frightened guards in short order. All three scampered to their hooves. The one who locked wheels with Ditzy, catching sight of Luna in the process. Your Highness! He blurted. You're not evil anymore! Evil? Echoed Luna. Misty, was you say that I've been evil today? The planeswalker kept a merrily straight face. That's a rather subjective matter. Wouldn't you agree, your majesty? Alicorn nodded, consistent. True. She turned back to the armored Pegasus. Tell me, Lieutenant Seaton, precisely what magnificence did I exhibit earlier? The hapless guard moment struggled for words before refocusing on the blonde mare. Your Highness, I must ask that you step aside. We need to detain this pony for questioning. No, you don't. The stallion paused to process this. With all due respect, my lady, if you will show me all due respect, you will not be questioning my direct orders. But, technically, you shouldn't even be making eye contact with me. But it is my understanding that certain social norms have been relaxed over the past millennium. Desperation crept into Zeal's voice. Princess, we have direct orders from your sister to investigate this disturbance and to apprehend those that are responsible. Luna shrugged. Tell her it was an act of fate. The white stallion took in the unconscious elements of harmony. The oh-so-arrestable Pegasus. The fighting filly who obviously been coerced into aiding the villain. An act of fate, your Highness? Luna nodded. An act of fate. The lieutenant opened his mouth to object further, but one of his comrades spoke first. You heard the princess see? Act of fate. You can't arrest destiny, noted the third man of Carolina's finest. You know, I heard somebody try it once. It wasn't pretty. Crestfallen guard managed to squeeze into the conversation. But, come on, Z, we got something free for you to get to. Yep, it makes no sense in making Celestia worry over nothing. Flash, is that you? The trio took off to reconnoiter with their fellows, one more hesitantly than the other. Ditzy quirked an eyebrow. Not to sound ungrateful, but act of fate? Luna nodded. The Federal Arcade Temporal Spatial Enforcement Act clearly designates today's offenses outside the Royal Cause jurisdiction. Whose jurisdiction are they? Mine. Gah! Ditzy left a few yards, turning to glare at Lyra? Alicorn saluted. Agent Lyrical Heartstrings, Officer of Parallel Realities, Department of Quantum Affairs, Space Division of the Equestria's Time Space Administration Bureau. See smart. Also known as the ETSAB. Every aspect of our world is overseen by sapient life. The weather, the turning of the seasons, the plants, animals, causality and cosmos are no different, save that they are vastly more necessary and more vastly designated if Miss Mars are left uncontrolled. I, you, Dizzy took a deep breath as he sorted out the countless questions that came to mind. So, where were all the special agents while I was risking my tail and my phone? There are currently only 4 ETSAB agents in Ponyville, answered Lyra. Both members of the Time Division are on a case elsewhere in history, and the other member of the Space Division is still in the womb. What? And the other member of the Space Division is still in the womb. Right. The Pegasus researched the ads for elaboration. Suzy told her that further inquiry along those lines would only make for more confusion. As for you? The green mare awkwardly rubbed a cannon with the other foreleg. Well, you had to understand that this is some really confidential stuff. The only reason why we're even talking about this in the open is because the town's been evacuated. It's like I said back at the boutique. My job's a secret even to me. Well, most of the time. I had to be activated by either circumstance or post-hypnotic cue. In this case, it was the generosity elemental spinning me out of his high mind. And after that? Lyra glared at Ditsy. I was making sure that time stop of yours wouldn't make anything worse. Oh. The blonde gave a nervous chuckle. Oops. So, are you telling me off of this? Something clicked. Yes. It's a job offer, isn't it? The unicorn nodded. Celestia knows how sore-handed we are. Also I, noted Luna. Anyway, I know explaining your affairs would love to have someone like you on board. Dizzy felt like she could be knocked over with a feather. How did you? When on a moment's notice you cast a spell that even Star Swirl needed a week to prepare for, kind of a tip-off. Especially when you do it without a horn. Oh, right. Lyra grinned and held out for a leg. So, what do you say? But... After today's events, Dizzy struggled with this latest, unexpected development. I'm the only male pony in Ponyville, she protested lamely. The spearmint mare shrugged. It's only got on ass-needed business. Heck, sometimes I go months between assignments. What a bored, distant look. You're really the only postal worker for the entire town? Yeah. The unicorn snorted in indignation. This is a travesty! To think that one of the most fundamental components of civil service would be reduced to this solid mockery, this skeletal psalm, and with insight to counterlot no less. Us mother as all witness this Shadowstorm! What's with her? Lyra whispered. Dizzy held back a laugh. If I remember correctly, she's the one who came up with the idea of the postal system in the first place. Huh. So, you're interested in the ETSAB? The unicorn smiled. I understand. It's a big decision. If you want, you can be registered as a consultant. You'll basically get to choose how involved you get. I think that would be best. Diggy then chose to speak up. Does this make Mommy a secret agent? Lyra will remain. Depends. Can you keep a secret? Wizard Anvil! Concluded Luna. So you know what the blank looks on the other ponies in secrecy. I suppose I went on a bit of a tangent. My apologies. Dizzy straightened herself. This was a monumental choice, and she wanted to recognize it as such. Your Majesty, I would be honored to be a member of the Bureau, but given my responsibilities, I must ask I only take on a consulting role for now. The princess nodded. Entirely reasonable. I see heartstrings. I trust you to coordinate the necessary logistics. Of course, Your Majesty. A thought struck the Pegasus. What about Pinkie Pie? She's a playwalker, too. Lyra burst out into laughter at this. Once she collected herself, she explained. Sorry. It's just that Anomalous Affairs has had a subcommittee devoted entirely to Pinkie for the past 5 years or so. If we recruit her, those poor guys will probably go apoplectic. Furthermore, added Luna, Celestia and I have agreed that none of the elements should be involved in the more covert aspects of the kingdom. Dizzy took this in for a moment. Well, guess that clears everything up except for one question. The unicorn gave a slight frown. That would be? The planeswalker gestured towards the still prone bearers. What are we going to do with them? Put them up in silly poses? Celestia considered both the news and its reporter.
And not to faint, you say?
Yes, Your Majesty, grumbled the kneeling signing seal.
She nodded. Well, that's done then.
The guard's pony's head bolted up in disbelief. Your Majesty?
The princess met him with a questioning look. You have done your duty and explained my concerns to Tent. What more is there?
Humility and curiosity warred in the stallion's mind. But I...
Yes?
But this is what your sister told me to tell you! Sal covered his mouth, horrified by the slip. Unicorn seemed no more interested than before.
Oh, well then you have performed a duty to each of us. Well done, Lieutenant.
But I don't know what actually happened!
I assure you, Signing Seal, our top police will be investigating the matter.
The Pegasus pondered this for a moment. But, Your Majesty, who?
Top ponies.
Celestia magically lifted and unrolled a scroll, then looked back at the guard with a hint of surprise.
You are dismissed, Lieutenant.
What Seal was going to say, he thought the better of it. Instead, he knelt and answered, Understood, Your Majesty. I swear, I'm going to quit and turn over the royal guard position to shining armor.
The Day Princess allowed herself a slight smile as the stallion left the chamber.
Shining Zeal obviously didn't understand the situation, at least not beyond. The princess had declared the matter closed, but that was good enough for him. As his name implied, the guard was noble and devoted, but had almost no sense for the finer points of politics. Luna wished the same could be said of more ponies. Alas, such views was as much a part of her reign as was moving the sun. At least Luna's return had brought back the sister that savored that sort of intrigue. But she couldn't shoulder it all alone. And on that note, with the theatrical side, the Alcorn sighed.
You can come out now.
2 ponies materialized before her, each offering a deep nod. Etiquette was not a mysterious concern. How could it be? Officially, they didn't exist. The unicorn, an ash-gray mare with auburn mane and a domino mask cutie mark, spoke first.
Was it satisfied? Must suspect.
Celestia sniffled a sticker.
Seal, unless it's a criminal mare, he's adorably naive. He wouldn't suspect Blue Bud's lineage of being anything but the purest truth.
Are you sure? Checked the other, a midnight blue stallion with a sable mane and a heart under a magnifying glass on his flank. Could be a poodle.
The princess gave him a flat look. It may no longer be practical for me to meet every one of my ponies personally, dashing rogue. But I still make the effort with the royal guard. I know that stallion better than he knows himself. He is no concern of yours.
Rogue nodded again. As you say, princess.
Celestia changed the subject, knowing she would go no further with him. Cooking Dagger, what can you tell me about the incident?
The unicorn applauded the culprit. Not much.
Oh, cursed the unicorn. Big fight. No pony got close. Too scared. Too conspicuous the town empty.
Dagger offered an usher smiled.
Talk of hazard pay. Well, not much isn't nothing. What do you have? Some still in town at time. Elements, dues, Luna, ETSAB mare. The unicorn nodded. That confirms it then. It would appear I have an appointment to make. It has been some time since I last spoke with Inner Core.
She briefly thought her intended back to her spy masters.
And that's what they are. She thought to herself, no matter how many penny terrors you have fed for them, you may go.
The doodle padded out, eerily silent for ponies, even on soft carpet. Rogue spread a wing over Dagger, bringing her a bit closer, and they vanished from sight. Celestia waited until she no longer could sense them, before reflecting deeply on the matter. Once she was alone with her thoughts, she refused to pass. Had it really been an hour? The humiliating audience support slide rules seems ages ago. She hastily cancelled the remainder of morning court, citing emergency causes that sent scholars of law pouring over through the Catalan archives. Then, with the same abruptness which had appeared, the tremendous glob of pony magic in Ponyville had vanished. Celestia had entrusted the parent miracle, so she took a look for herself. She rarely used the power of solar scrying, merely because she found the idea of leering down at her people like a warden monitoring a prison distasteful. Here, however, it easily revealed the deception. While the town seemed fine at first glance, the ponies anxiously milling about the city limits didn't mess with the cheerful activity within. Less than a minute of careful observation proved that Ponyville was on a loop, yet the Encore couldn't pierce the illusion. She dispatched the guard to investigate. including a few members of her less publicized forces. Now here she was. The princess sighed. After a millennium of careful scrutiny, not being sure what was going on elicited an odd blend of anxiety and novelty. She supposed she would have to wait until Luna deigned to tell her what happened. This prompted a snicker. Was allowed to run free. Oh yes, little sister would find that all too amusing. Oh, Tyler went to see gradually regain consciousness. Worst dream ever. I quite agree. Tea? Yes. She eagerly took the proffered caffeine, draining the cup before Nosy would give it to her. Trixie! The other unicorn smiled. Good afternoon, Twilight. The lavender mare set down the teacup. Faithful in her drowsy state, she used toes rather than magic. Thus, hadn't let it drop in her shock. She did so. She examined her unexpected caretaker's coat. It was almost impossible to make out Pointy Dog's telltale rasp against the already blue hair. What, what brings you here? Asked the bear. A wooden smile nailed to her voice. Trixie couldn't help it. She began laughing uproariously at the other mare's discomfort. Oh, relax. I solemnly swear that I'm not in love with you, madly or otherwise. Just elicited a fresh peal of laughter. Twilight noted an unexpected ambivalence in her reaction. It filed it away for future analysis. Okay, if you aren't here to court me, then what brings you here to Ponyville, in my bedroom? The silver-maned pony feigned surprise. Why, Miss Sparkle, surely you haven't forgotten that my mentor is gracing this modest hamlet with her presence. Your mentor? Princess Luna. Twilight's reaction was like an explosive with a long but unseen fuse. For a time, nothing seemed to happen. Then she burst into action, sending her sheets flying. Oh my gosh! The princess! What time is it? Who has she met? Has anybody offended her? Has she banned any points to the sun? Oh, if her sister just said Princess Celestia will never forgive me! Where is she? I have to stop with this! You have no reason to be concerned, Twilight Sparkle. Both unicorns beheld the night princess. I have had a most enjoyable time at Ponyville this day. The purple mare slid to relief. Oh, thank goodness. One nagging thought finally got through her drowsiness and panic. Wait a second. She turned to Trixie. How could you agree about the unpleasant nature of my dream? It would be understandable if you simply sympathized, or even said you were sorry, but you obviously weren't responsible for it. But you especially said, I agree. Why? So Mayor Spare didn't respond at first. After a nod from Luna, she asked, What do you remember? Twilight brought a hope to her forehead as she concentrated. I was performing my usual Thursday instrument calibrations when the ultra-wide-angle thermoscope detected a strange flux in the universal magic background energy, one I had never seen before. Further research indicated that particular pattern was unprecedented in all recorded history. The only clue I could find was a vague illusion of time chaos in origins and atrocities. I tried to find a way to counterbalance the shift, to superimpose a mirror waveform to restore equilibrium. Then a second flux developed, almost exactly what I needed. I had to adjust it a little, guided to fulfill the purpose, and then... She shook her head. No, that couldn't have been real. I mean, really? Biggest I casting spells? Nightmare moon reappearing? The doctor grew hysterical. Paralyzing my friends? Wanting to do horrible things to a mother and a child? Willing to break the world apart if it means I win? That wasn't real. It couldn't be real, right? Right? Wings of Wharf enfolded her. Somehow, the comforting gesture removed any possibility of denial. Twilight began to summon to Celestia's side. How? The unicorn pleaded. How do you deal with the guilt? You learn from it, so you'll never make the same mistakes again. You spend every day trying to earn the forgiveness you may feel you never deserve, and hope with all your heart that one day ponies will look at you and not see the monster you became. Trixie then gave a weak smile in response. At least, that's what Luna told me. Twilight ducked at her princess wing, looked at the other unicorn in new light. Trixie. Reddy's voice cut in mid-sentence. Having a private moment! All three turned to see Rainbow Dash through an open window. Forget that! I can hear Twilight crying in there! You can't expect me to just sit back and let her beat herself over something that wasn't even her fault! The Pegasus knows he had been noticed, and among other things. Oh, you two weren't going to make out, were you? Because if you were, I owe AJ 10 bits. Trixie flushed, almost turning purple. They all are tactless, immature, inconsiderate! She was drowned out by Twilight's laughter. The lavender mare beamed at her winged friend, chuckling a bit. Thank you, Dash. The speedster posed proudly. You're welcome. Ditsy paused for a moment, nosing a discontent. For what? For being you. Rainbow considered this, shrugged, and took it. Hey, gratitude was gratitude. Who cared about the details? Is every pony outside? Yep. We're going to throw you a feel better party, but Miss Prissy Pants decided it would be polite and proper to intrude on such highly personal matters. The heavy use of air quotes made the Spectrum Mayor's opinion on the matter clear. Celestia stood, sniffled, and smiled. You know, I think a party's exactly what I need. She turned to the room's other occupants. You're both in fire, of course. Tracy demurred. I don't know. I mean, with my history. Nonsense! Boomed Luna. We will both be overjoyed to attend. Let us make merry and leave ice for another day. Great! Dash cheered. I'll go tell the others. She made to leave, but then remembered a minor detail. Oh, you may want to unlock the door. Piggy's gonna get through regardless, but... Twilight waved away the last of her tears. Right. She wasn't all better. She wasn't sure she ever really could be. But she had friends that were there for her no matter what. She sees that she even had more on the horizon. That was a magic that could do anything, without shattering the horizon universe. The sound of Pinkie Pie blowing her nose echoed throughout the library. So touching!
Commodore Gruff shrugged. I found it rather saccharine, to say nothing of how erratic the overall tone of the chapter was.
Pony interrupted. Well, I'm going to be living this story in a few thousand years, and I think it's very sweet.
Don't get me wrong. I do enjoy a happy ending. This event just felt unsatisfying. Like there should be more there.
Well, of course there's more there, silly.
The human-shaped walker impatiently waved us off.
Yes, I know. No story is ever complete. I taught you that after all.
No, I mean we haven't read the epilogue.
Sure enough, there are a few pages left in the book.
Oh, I suppose we haven't.
Pinkie hefted a pile of notebook and loose pages, apparently still taking out of page-day calendars.
And after that, there's a bunch of side stories and omics and stuff.
Gruff gave his own harumph.
That's hardly a continuity.
Now here's the whole story.
Point. Do you want to read the next part, or shall I?
Pinkie pushed the book towards him.
I just finished. Now it's your turn.
Very well.
Gruff cleared his throat and adjusted his monologue.
Excuse me, Mr. Martial Art Freezer. Would you mind doing this part?
Huh? Oh, sure. Epilogue. It never fails. Oh, and we got a new card. 4 fall breeds. 1, regular mana. 2, black mana. Sorcery. Search your library for a silver bearded card. To reveal it, and put it in your hand. Then, suffer your library.
Oh, hi, having fun? You know what you're gonna look for. I hope you get your favorite card. Unless this is your favorite card. In which case, congratulations!
Pinkie Pie, element of laughter.
Dear Princess Celestia, today I learned that you should never assume your friends can't help you with a hard problem, even if it seems outside their experience. Not only can a friend's perspective sometimes be more valuable than seemingly essential knowledge, you may be surprised by what ponies thought you knew or really capable of when they put their muscles to the grindstone. I also learned you should always keep your heart open to ponies who've made mistakes in the past. You never know what they've been doing since, or how they've tried to correct their past wrongs. Sometimes these efforts can be incredibly draining, and they can seem pointless when those ponies are surrounded by others getting on just fine. More than ever, these repentant ponies need a friend, and you should be there for them, ready to forgive, forget, and forge a new bond. Your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. P.S. I am so sorry for messing with your mind. Please don't imprison me or banish me or imprison me in the place where you banished me.
Canterlot Archives. Twilight Sparkle Wing. Document L038.
To my faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. First, let me assure you that I have no intention of punishing the actions you took while not in your right mind, and especially not through imprisonment, exile, or a combination thereof. Secondly, I feel there must be learned from this experience, beyond the insights on the magic of friendship. The creatures that came into being today taught us a lesson all too easily forgotten, that a virtue exercised immodestly becomes a vice. Furthermore, while I hope it will never come to pass, It's entirely possible that today's events could repeat themselves in the future. If those events are willingly forgotten, then it is almost guaranteed. As such, I humbly request that you and the other elemental bearers, Miss Dew and Miss Hubbises, collaborate on an updated edition of the Guide to the Elements of Harmony, knowing that the perils of each element when taken to extremes, and vulnerabilities of each element when incarcerated. In the light of the harmonic normalcy initiative we had discussed in the past, I strongly recommend that you compile this new edition under a pseudonym. I will personally edit the manuscript and post it to the Academy Press. There is no deadline or due date. Please do not feel pressure to turn out something as quickly as possible. But by the same token, don't hoard your friend's submissions in the belief that only what is already perfect can be allowed to grace my gaze. I have no desire to cause you undue stress, my faithful student, nor do I cause it unto yourself or anybody else. Hey, sir, have fun with it. Your mentor, Princess Celestia.
Fireside Posey Philly, 87 Everfree Road, Ponyville, CS 17069. Dear Miss Poseyville, at the recommendation of Her Royal Highness Princess Luna, and in recognition of the acts of uncommon valor, conviction, and ingenuity, we are pleased to bestow the prodigious hour of the Order of the Equestria Eclipse to your pet rabbit, Angel Bunny. As per tradition, the presentation of this award will take place on the day of the next equinox, the 22nd of November, on the grounds of Castle Canterlot. Our sincerest congratulations, Solar Wind, Champion of the Sun, Witching Hour, Champion of the Moon.
Messieurs Wind and Hour. Castle Canterlot, Office of the Royal Champion, Canterlot, CS 0000001.
To the esteemed champions of the Sun and Moon, I thank you for the honor of such a stone medal and the honor of the eclipse, but I am especially declined. I mean no offense to you or your exalted patrons, but it would be most unbecoming were I to accept an award for acting as member of my race would under the circumstances. Furthermore, the Council of Lords does not look kindly upon those under the auspicious accepting of accolades of those regards as the lesser races, namely any non-Lagomorphs. Please understand, I do not subscribe to this bigotry, though I owe my fealty to those who do. With the utmost respect, I crown the virtue who punches evil in the face. No to pony, says Angel Bunny, champion of kindness.
And Contessa Octavia Pye, 26th Avenue, apartment 44C, Manhattan, New York. 46543.
Dear Inky. Hi, it's Pinky. Well, you probably know that from the envelope, but it seems like a good idea to say so just in case. Anyway, might have had a busy day. I just want to let you know that I was in Ponyfield, we took care of it, and no pony was hurt. I'm happy to hear about you and your friend's engagement, and the invitation was beautiful. But on that note, I'm going to have to give you some sisterly advice. It seems that a certain somebody is bitten by the marriage bug, because he's been dropping hints more than the base. You should probably come for a visit before she proposes on air. Tommy's doing well, and Mrs. Cake is entering her 3rd month. It's so exciting! I can't wait to find out if I'm going to be a godmother or a godfather. Say hi to the band for me. See you at the gala. Your loving sister, Pinky.
Mr. Lance, 5 Circle Circle, Las Vegas, California, 90005. Dear Miss Lace, 6 years ago, your husband was lost in an accident on Collegedale Wire Factory. The same day, your daughter appeared
without a trace in front of your eyes. I write you today not to open old wounds but offer a resolution. You see, I am your daughter. I apologize for not contacting you before now. It's a long, complicated story, one I plan on telling you in person. Suffice to say, when I made it back to Equestria, I was focused on establishing some kind of stability for myself. Then I found love, then I lost it, then love found me. I got too wrapped up in my own life, my own problems, even thinking to reach out to you until now. I hope and pray you can forgive me for my selfishness. If you'll have me, I'll be glad to visit you on a moment's notice, along with your son-in-law, your granddaughter, and a whole lot of stories. Your loving daughter, Titsy. P.S. I know it sounds too good to be true. The enclosed photo is offered as proof. If that's not enough, the secret to your extra fluffy lemon poppy seed muffins is to use cloud condensate instead of table salt.
one last new card. For now. Go Postal. 2 colors mana, 3 green mana. Sorcery. Whenever a creature you control deals the combat damage to a player this turn, draw that many cards.
Neither rain nor sleet nor dark at night nor dogs nor hail nor big green bees with teeth nor Rengar Chaos Gods nor Savage Natives nor Mrs. Cake will stay at these messengers for their daily rounds. The end. Okay, to all you other live readers who started this fake but never finished because they only got to a few chapters in, what? I finished it. What was your problem, huh? What? Couldn't handle the magic? Couldn't handle the glory? Couldn't handle the fact that I got Chandra at the ready? You called. Anyway, this fic was pretty fun. Not ground-shattering or epic or dark or serious as some of the other stuff I've read so far. But it was just fun, and sometimes that's what you really, really need when it comes to a good story. Yeah, I mean, we still had things that were in trouble, but in comparison to a lot of the other stuff that we've been through, this was actually pretty relaxing. The grammar and spelling of this was perfect. And sometimes that's what I really need. I didn't see that many bad spelling errors, but I know there might have been a few. But for something that didn't have a beta, this was done pretty well, and I didn't see that many spelling mistakes that took me out of the story. Or grammar or a few shots. When it comes to a story like this, I remembered why I picked and chose to read this story in the first place when I read it alone. And that was to see how somebody translates a card game like Magic the Gathering into a novel format. Because, you see, Magic runs on a completely different system as opposed to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards. When playing Pokemon cards, you can just put in the card game and be done with it. When dealing with Yu-Gi-Oh!, again, you just throw in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck, write some Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels, learn how to handle yourself, boom, done, problem solved. Magic is different in that there is a freaking lore behind it. There is a huge essence behind it. There are gods, wizards, planeswalkers, entire universes, spells. Heck, you just met some of the main protagonists. And guess what? Those protagonists that you saw, you can actually use as cards. Planeswalker cards. Heck, my deck actually has Chandra in it. And I'm planning on trying to find a good blue deck to fuse the two. See? So, how do you translate that? Especially when you have mechanics like tapping mana, monster summoning, because again, let's not forget, those monsters that are in the fic, that are in this game, are actual normal monsters. So how do you also translate monster summons and upgrade spells and the like to this story? You can't just say the character stood there while he was tapping his mana. It doesn't really make the story flow. So I was quite curious as to how he did it. And also kind of hoped that it wasn't too confusing, because as I've said about this before, about when it comes to crossovers, when you're trying to cross over something familiar with something new that you're not familiar with, you gotta make sure that the audience knows what's going on too. Otherwise, while you're reading the fic, the audience will just end up going, "What's going on? Who are these people?" Actually, interesting story on Writers Group forums on FinFic. I had to ask this question of how do you explain this whole entire other crossover universe that you got into another story that nobody knows about. And they told me about offer exposition when the time comes. I think this is probably a great example of that. I didn't really feel all that confused when I got introduced to the rest of the characters. When I saw Jace and Chandra, I wasn't so much confused and then I went into TV tropes, and now I want to grab a brand new story. Well, kind of interesting how far we come when you think about it. Before the inventions of things like TV tropes, social media, and stuff like that,
or wiki articles, you were stuck when crossovers like this happened. You were stuck just going, who, what, where. Now it's easy enough to just go on to Wikipedia or TV tropes and put the thing that the other people are crossing over with and then reading. I digress. So when I saw these characters, it became a good introduction. I think what helps is that we got a character like Ditzy who easily came into each story and showed off what she could do. She allowed us to be introduced to the story at large, to see where this story came from. And just who are all these planeswalkers, and what's it mean to be a planeswalker, and the magic system, and all that. Now I'm kind of more interested into reading stuff. Applejack was, of course, in Domain 6 are perfectly in character, though they didn't show up all that much, but this was Ditzy's story rather than Domain 6's story. However, I do like the fact that Domain 6 still felt like a part of the story, even though they weren't really part of the story, if you get my meaning. In other words, they did do certain stuff. They actually had characters, they actually talked about the plot, they were actually a part of the greater narrative. Like Applejack, Rainbow Dash, heck, even Twilight, once he became the villain. And even once he was a villain, he still felt like Twilight. Granted, she wasn't approaching Midnight Sparkle levels of awesome, but she was still an awesome villainess. I loved Ditzy. She didn't feel all that overpowered to me, and she didn't feel like she was talking to Silver and the others. She just felt like she was a planeswalker who popped up. And again, this allowed us to understand more of them. Oh, by the way, I also love Gruff now. Just want to say that. I think there's a planeswalker card of him. He would break the system. I love how we gave Ditzy an awesome backstory and how her character arc came to be. I don't know if the flashbacks were placed properly. You guys could probably offer a different opinion, but I think the flashbacks were done well, giving us a chance to see how Ditzy grew from into a planeswalker and how she learned the different spells. Though, granted, I do kind of wish certain flashbacks actually linked up with what was happening in the scenarios, like with each flashback you learned each mana was. That's another thing this thing did well without messing up too badly in the exposition, was telling us what each mana was and what each mana did. We weren't less confused as to what green mana was, what red mana was, black, blue, and white. We knew each one of them separated. Which brings me to the elements. I love that each one of them wasn't taken down by force with the exception of laughter, but the 5 elementals preceding magic all had something to do with their innermost qualities. Generosity sacrificed itself, kindness was asked nicely. Each elemental was treated like its own monster, giving us a chance to show off how we could handle it. Trixie, of course, was in rare form today. Really, really well done. All in all, a fun little side story for all of us to enjoy. That was one down. This is where to go. I'll see you next time. Next week, we have something even more special. Tomorrow, we'll have something more special for you. Hit it. Once a generation, there's a chosen one. She alone will stand against the forces of darkness and evil. She is the Slayer. Coming next, Penstroke, Sunset Slayer. I'll see you there.